upon a time there was truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
Hey everyone, surprise, it's not Jordan today, it's me, Jen Dyes. I'm really excited to come to you today with some reporting on the Ghislaine Maxwell case and all of the relevant people that have been named in these unsealed documents. So if you've been following along with this channel, then you will have seen that I've been reporting on Ghislaine Maxwell and all of the developments to this point. Last Thursday, the judge in this case decided to unseal certain documents, and they gave from a 2015 testimony, and they gave Ghislaine Maxwell's team a week to file an appeal. Then on Tuesday it was kind of confusing because they decided that they weren't going to unseal certain documents, and it wasn't clear at all if some documents would be released and others not, or if none of the documents would be released. So I went into Thursday even thinking that we weren't going to get anything, but it happened. We actually got some, not all, of the documents related to this latest Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Roberts Jewfrey, one of the alleged victims. We finally got it. So this stuff is from the 2015 case that we have today. So before I start getting into what these documents reveal, and it is a lot, I have spent hours and hours and hours today going through thousands of pages of documents. It's unreal how much has landed in our laps. Now, what I suspect will be the really juicy stuff is Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony, and we do not have that right now. But we have stuff from Virginia Roberts Jewfrey, we have a lot of stuff from other people in the Epstein world, and it's, I think, one good step towards finding justice. And I'll talk about some of the famous political figures and well-connected people, wealthy people, royals that have been potentially implicated in I don't even want to call it a scandal because it's so disgusting and depraved. And I've seen a lot of media actually saying that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell potentially raped or molested or assaulted young women. I want to make it very, very clear that young girls are not the same as young women. Allegedly, some of these victims were 15, 16, 17, and that's the age range that Virginia Roberts Jewfrey was. That's not a young woman, that's a young girl. So I want to make today kind of interactive. So I want to talk to you guys. I want you to leave any comments that you have as I go through all of the documents and the news. So leave comments. I want to respond to those. Super chats are definitely welcome. I know that it's kind of late on a Friday. I know people might be doing stuff, but share this stream on your social media. Let's get more people here because I think we're going to have a good discussion and talk about some really, really great things. well, not great things, but important things. So excuse me for saying great. What I meant was important. And I just think that every step that we can take to find justice for these young girls is an important one. So that's why, it sounds maybe bad to say I'm excited, but I'm excited because what is happening now has been a long time coming. I'm not yet, and probably will never until it potentially happens, I'm not convinced that Ghislaine Maxwell will be brought to justice. Where there's smoke, and there's so much smoke surrounding Ghislaine Maxwell, there are certain facts that we know about her that in my opinion, she should be tossed in jail way, way, way before this, from what we've known. But for some reason, and I think we know what that reason is, the people in the orbit of Jeffrey Epstein seem to be highly, highly protected. And for a long time, back when Jeffrey Epstein was alive, and possibly now with Ghislaine Maxwell, they had so much dirt on a lot of these high-powered people that they interacted with, that, or molested or raped, that they could kind of blackmail anyone and destroy their lives or careers of anyone they wanted to. So, Anony, do we know what happened to the girls? Are they in therapy? So we actually don't know the identity of a lot of the girls. We do. Virginia Roberts Jewfrey is one who's been kind of at the forefront of this. She was in the 2015 case against Ghislaine Maxwell and is now in this current case. So she's been one of the most kind of forthcoming or most public victims. So we don't know, and even in these documents, so Virginia Roberts Jewfrey is Jane Doe number 3 in these documents, but we still don't know the identities of Jane Doe 1 or Jane Doe 2. And from what we know, what's come out so far, there were potentially hundreds upon hundreds of young girls in this who were abused, raped, and molested, and just used in so many ways. So I hope that they're in therapy, but I don't know. So please, before I go any further and show you some of this news and this information, please do a couple things for me. Please smash that like button. It's really important that you hit the like button because that gets YouTube to show this stream to more people. And YouTube is definitely suppressing us, so that really, really helps. And also share the stream on all your social media. That helps too. And I want to tell you guys that, and I need to pull the link up, that, hold on one second here, we have Status Coup masks available now. One second. Let me find the store. Just one second, guys. These masks have been selling so well. It is people told us over and over again, you got to get Status Coup masks. You got to get Status Coup masks. So I am excited, and I'll put the link now in the description. You know, we decided, oh, Teespring's offering masks now. Let's do it. Let's give the people what they want. So these have been selling like crazy. Definitely get yours now. Go to Teespring. I just put the link in the description, and yeah, and support the coup and spread the word. We've gotten some super chats already, which is so great. Thank you so much. And Gabriel Akari, sorry about that. 100 SEK, sending some love from Sweden. We so appreciate that. You are a frequent supporter, so we really, really thank you. And Anna Maxa, $2 in the super chat. Jen's reports rock. Thank you for them. Thank you so much, Anna Maxa. I have to tell you guys the truth. I was not wanting to do this live stream today, but I felt it was important to do, and Jacob, that's one of my son's names, Jordan is out doing something else right now, so I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll do a live stream, but I resisted it for so long because for some reason I find it like much more much scarier to go live than to just record videos. But that's okay. I'll get over it because I love you all, and it really helps that you are there listening along with me. So let me switch to the browser here and show you some things. So this, and I've put the link to the documents in the description as well. I'll put it in the chat. So I'll put it in the description as well. But here are all of the documents that have been released. I think there were 126 or something like that. So that goes to show you just how much there is to dig through. By no means have I gone through all of these. As I said, I spent hours and hours today going through the documents, and I didn't even make a dent. So I will keep reporting on this. I will keep digging, but you guys dig too. You know, there's a reason why this information was finally made public, and it's because it's in the public interest. And the more people who dig through these documents, the more eyeballs there are on what's out there. And hopefully on Monday, we will get the Ghislaine Maxwell testimony, which should be even more explosive. So definitely go to the court website that I've shared with you and start doing some digging. It really, really helps. So that's how many there are. So I want to start out with some background here. So this is a document from the document dump. And if you're looking, document 20. So this was filed in December of 2015. It gives some background here on that 2015 case. And this is a single count defamation case, turning on whether defendant defamed Ms. Jewfrey by calling her a liar when Ms. Jewfrey publicly reported the sexual abuse she suffered as a minor child. Ms. Jewfrey has propounded narrowly tailored discovery that goes to the heart of the defamation, but rather than respond, defendant has moved for a stay of all discovery pending her motion to dismiss. Defendant's public defamatory attack on Ms. Jewfrey is an unabashed effort to bully this sexual assault victim into silence. This is an old story. Defendant is calling Ms. Jewfrey a liar. And again, Virginia Roberts Jewfrey is one of the most vocal alleged victims. And the defendant is Ghislaine Maxwell. To deflect attention from her own conduct. Defendant's main argument is that discovery should be stayed because defendant will be successful on her motion to dismiss her defamatory statements are protected by certain qualified privileges. So on and on, you know, court speak is really not the most engaging thing to read. The publicly available information convincingly proves that defendant's statement that she was not involved in the abuse of Ms. Jewfrey is false. Overwhelming evidence, including documents, witness testimony, and even photographs of defendant, not only clearly corroborate Ms. Jewfrey's report of the sex abuse, but also importantly show defendant's deep and persistent participation. And obviously, because defendant herself was helping orchestrate the sexual abuse of Ms. Jewfrey, her statements attacking Ms. Jewfrey were not negligently uttered, but deliberately made. In a lot of these court documents from 2015, there's a lot of back and forth where Virginia Roberts Jewfrey is kind of fighting back against Ghislaine Maxwell's attempts to say that she's accusing her of false things. So Ghislaine Maxwell kept putting out, you know, statement after statement and motion after motion saying, these are untrue, I'm being defamed, you know, Virginia Roberts Jewfrey is lying. So she spent a lot of time deflecting. But here's what we know. Let's see here. The evidence begins with the fact that the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida identified Ms. Jewfrey as a sexual assault victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Indeed, Epstein entered into a non-prosecution agreement with the federal authorities obligating him to pay restitutions for his crimes against Ms. Jewfrey. That agreement also protected any co-conspirators from prosecution. And if you're not familiar with this non-prosecution agreement, it is absolutely abhorrent. It is disgusting what these people were allowed to get away with. Epstein basically served no time at all, and there's like this wall of silence around that case. There were people calling in favors, like Prince Andrew calling in favors, Alan Dershowitz, as a lawyer helping Epstein to get a lesser sentence. So there's a lot of stuff out there about Alan Dershowitz, which we'll get into, but at the very least, he helped in a professional way and a personal way. He helped Epstein get away with only being in jail for one count of prostitution. Were the young girls that Epstein and Ghislaine allegedly abused prostitutes? No, they were not. So the whole thing is disgusting. Definitely look into that. I'm only going to talk about the current stuff today, but definitely take a look at that non-prosecution agreement and how Epstein was treated all those years ago. It's so, it's like, it makes you realize just how gross people who have power and money, it's gross how they use their power to put down the people that are already oppressed, and how they lift themselves up and can basically get away with anything they want to. Really discouraging. The remaining question then is whether the defendant was involved in this sexual abuse. Again, publicly available evidence, well known to the defendant, reveals that she was at the heart of Epstein's sex trafficking. Defendant cannot dispute that she recruited Miss Jewfrey at the young age of 15 to come massage Jeffrey Epstein at his Palm Beach mansion. Publicly available flight logs from the convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's private jets show the defendant flying close to 360 times, and at least 20 of those flights were with Jeffrey Epstein and Miss Jewfrey when she was a minor child. Think about that. The flight logs have been kind of in the news for a long time now because Gawker came out with that report years ago stating that Bill Clinton had been on Jeffrey Epstein's plane at least 11 times. And more information has come out since then that it was maybe 26 times. Bill Clinton says that he was only on there 4 times. Well, the flight logs disagree with you, Bill. So I will show you some flight log information that was in these documents as well. 360 times. Can you imagine being a young girl and wanting to earn money? She truly wanted to be a masseuse, and that's how Ghislaine Maxwell found her at Mar-a-Lago, where she was reading a book about becoming a masseuse. So Ghislaine reportedly snatched her up from there, said she could get some kind of on-the-job training, and Virginia Roberts Jewfrey thought that was a great idea. She was Virginia Roberts back then, of course. So she got swept up in the Epstein world. They made promises to her. They abused her mentally, allegedly abused her mentally, physically, sexually. And she's finally able to be vocal about everything that happened to her. Let's see here. While the defendant, again, that is Ghislaine Maxwell, attempts to argue that this victim's claims are unbelievable because she is accusing prominent and wealthy people of sexual abuse, the defendant provides no explanation for why she had Miss Jewfrey, who was a minor child at the time, in the defendant's London home, late at night with Prince Andrew's arm wrapped around her bare waist, all shown with the defendant smiling in the background. Despite the photographic evidence corroborating Ms. Jewfrey's account, defendant is quick to publicly denounce Ms. Jewfrey, calling her a liar. And in that picture, I'm sure you guys have all seen it, Virginia Roberts, was 17 years old. During the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, certain household staff were deposed. Alfredo Rodriguez, who I will share more of his testimony at a later time. And he said, the question was, going back to where we started here, was, does Ghislaine Maxwell have knowledge of the girls that would come over to Jeffrey Epstein's house that are in roughly the same age group as C and T, who were minor children, and to have a good time, as you put it? Yes, he said. Again, this was Jeffrey Epstein's household manager. He knew what was going on. Question, and what was her involvement and or knowledge about that? She knew what was going on. So that's something that I have a really hard time with. There were all these people who worked for Jeffrey Epstein. He was very wealthy. He had house cleaners in there all the time. He had a household manager. He had Ghislaine there constantly, of course. And there were people swirling around this world all the time. He was constantly with wealthy, powerful people. He had a lot of friends in high-powered places. Why did no one say what was going on? I said this in a video earlier today. I don't understand how you get to a place where you see something as disgusting as rape and sexual assault of young girls and say nothing. I don't care if you're family with the people, you say something. I don't care if you're best friends with the person, you say something. The only thing I can say about the staff is that they were potentially muzzled or threatened or what have you. I still have a hard time with deciding to not say anything, and even participating in, like, some of these household staff would like direct the girls where to go to give Jeffrey Epstein his massages, where strangely during these massages there were just sex toys left all over the place that the staff would then have to clean. I'll show you that in a bit. I have a hard time with the people who are either only speaking out now because they have to, and the ones who are speaking but are like contradicting themselves and not being forthcoming with all of the information that they most likely know. It gets me just so angry. Like, how can people let this happen? We know that Jeffrey Epstein was a monster. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell is a monster. But how could no one else say anything? How could this be allowed to happen? The powerful are just beyond disgusting. Also, they spoke to Juan Alessi, another household employee, who testified that young girls were regularly present at Jeffrey Epstein's home where Ghislaine Maxwell resides. Juan Alessi informed the Palm Beach police detective. Alessi stated that towards the end of his employment, the masseuses were younger and younger. When asked how young, Mr. Alessi stated that they appeared to be 16 or 17 years of age at most. 16 or 17 years of age at most. On November 21st, 2005, the Palm Beach Police Department took a sworn statement from house employee Juan Alessi in which he revealed that girls would come over to give massages, and he observed Ms. Maxwell going upstairs in the direction of the bedroom quarters. He also testified that after the massages, he would clean up sex toys that were kept in Ms. Maxwell's closet. He added that he and his wife were concerned with what was going on at the house, and that he observed girls at the house, including one named Virginia. Defendant also had naked pictures of girls performing sexual acts on her computer, according to Mr. Rodriguez. Upon leaving his employment, Rodriguez testified that defendant threatened him that he should not tell anyone about what happened at the house. So again, you can read more of this document yourself. There is so much to go through. There is so much left for me to go through in this stream itself. So I want to get back to, there's some more super chats, which I'm so excited about. Yay, keep the super chats coming. Jacqueline DeBlue, 50 pounds. You are just the best. You are such an amazing person, and I can't thank you enough. You inspire me. It means so much that you care so much about supporting independent media. So she says, for once I'm catching you from the start. Yay. Really excited about this one and its developments. I just hope something comes out of it. But am I holding my breath? Not so much. But still crossing my fingers from over that pond. Love and meow. Hello to your kitty cats. So I'm totally with you. I'm not holding my breath, but I am hopeful. So I don't know. I don't know what will happen. Nobody knows. But I'm hopeful. This document dump is one step. Another super chat from Chris Garrett. Jen, love that you're going live with what you've been able to learn from the dump so far. Thank you, Chris. You're awesome too. Just like the Status Coup viewers are truly the best, the absolute best. Let's see here. Oh, I see Sam Oster's in the chat. Shout out to Sam. And Munted Grunk. $2 in the super chat. Jen, please say, you ain't seen nothing yet. All right, I just did. I don't know why. But I did. And we are up to 418 viewers. Please smash that like button. It's important because it gets YouTube to show the stream to more people. It shows some enthusiasm around our reporting. So just smash it. $10 from Wendy Melly. Thank you. And a super chat sticker. I love the super chat stickers. They're adorable. Oh, yes. Presence reminds us that Ghislaine Maxwell's father was British media mogul Robert Maxwell. I won't get into it here, but definitely look up Robert Maxwell because this family is real shady. Let's see here. All right. So, Stephen Meyer, $10 in the super chat. Thank you. He says, you see something, say something, and get justice. Speaking up isn't easy, but it might stop this happening to another girl. Yeah, that's how I see it. I mean, I understand that people fear for their lives and their families, and they maybe were threatened, and this is a really powerful crew. But I just, there are a few things that bother me more than people not speaking up about injustices, especially injustices surrounding the sexual abuse of young girls. You can't be silent about that. I will never understand it. And someone wrote on my last video, they wrote, Jen, you clearly don't understand incest and how families regularly protect their family members who are molesting children or in cases of incest. And I wrote back, it's like, I do know about incest, first of all, and second of all, I don't care if they're family. I don't care if they're close friends. As I said earlier, you report injustices. You help these abused people find justice. That's it. Bottom line. We have another super chat. I love it. Keep it coming. Darren Levy, £5, I think that is. We live in the UK. We in the UK have our own elites caught up with Epstein, Prince Andrew, Tony Blair, and Peter Mandelson, and a UK version of Podesta. Yeah, there are a lot of people who are caught up in this. A lot more names will be coming out. So keep smashing that like button, share the stream on your social channels. It's Friday, it's late, but that's okay. So we're gonna keep digging through this, and we're gonna work together. I want you guys to dig into these documents too. We're gonna work together to help do our part to bring justice to these young girls who are now women and have had to live with this all their lives. Okay, here. So this is going to be disturbing. So trigger warning, if you have been abused or if you have experienced certain things in your past, could be triggering. So turn the sound down or look away or whatever you need to do. I totally understand. So let me read this here. So this is part of what Virginia Roberts Jewfrey says happened to her. So she says, so anyways, that was getting there, and I was introduced to Jewfrey. He was laying naked on top of the massage table, and obviously, for one, I'm a 15-year-old girl, and seeing him on the table was weird, but also learning about anatomy and massage. I thought this would be part of it. So obviously, I thought that it was part of the massage program, so I said, okay, this is fine. And I think some people have a tendency to blame these young girls and say, okay, there's this old man. Why are you even entertaining this? Like, why didn't you just get out of the house and leave? It's because they gaslight you and they lie to you and they make you feel like it is your fault if it even comes up, or they say things that help you rationalize it in your mind. So in this case, Virginia Roberts wanted to be a masseuse and she needed money and it paid well, and these were people she thought she could trust. So she thought it was okay. She was uncomfortable, but she reasoned in her mind that it was part of this program that didn't exist. And then he instructed me on how to touch the body, Jeffrey's body, how to massage him. And for the first hour, it was actually a real massage. Maybe not an hour, maybe like 40 minutes or something. But of something like that. And that's when he turned over on the other side and to expose himself fully. So then Ghislaine told me that she wanted me to undress and began to take off my shirt and skirt, my white uniform from Mar-a-Lago. She also took off her shirt and got undressed. And so I was there with just my undies on, and she was completely bare, and made some kind of little flake about the underwear that I was wearing because it wasn't my normal sexy girl underwear, and just like, I don't know, had red hearts on it or something like that. Just your normal, real cute underwear. Anyways, so during all of this, I'm kind of like, what's going on? How do I act? What do I say? I was so not afraid or fearful for my life, but unsure of how all this started and wanting to obtain a profession. I was so afraid thinking about upsetting and disappointing them. I don't know, it's a weird situation by far, and I was expected to lick his nipples, instructed on how to do so by Jeffrey Epstein, and give him oral sex while he wanted to fondle me. And then at the end, I was told by Ghislaine to get on top and straddle Jeffrey sexually. And when we were done, we went and had a shower in the room, and Jeffrey told me to wash him up and down. With a bar of soap, and make sure he was all cleaned up. And then he took me downstairs and took me to two of the guards and told John to bring me home. John was the butler at the time. So obviously that's difficult to read, but of course, much more difficult to live. This was a 15-year-old girl being told to lick some old dude's nipples and washing him and having to give him oral sex. There are no words. I'll never understand how someone could do this to a young girl. And again, what was that butler John doing? What are you doing, John? Why didn't you report this? Disgusting. Okay, next, I wanted to show you some flight logs. There are so many pages with this, so I'm only showing you flight logs that are directly relevant. So you can see here, Virginia Roberts' name is in this flight log, and she shows up a lot. Here she is again, Virginia Roberts. Here she is again, Virginia Roberts. And in these flight logs, you'll see a lot of famous people as well. But this shows you, here on this flight was Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm not sure who EJ is, and Virginia Roberts. So she was flown constantly with with Jeffrey Epstein, with famous people, and it just became, I guess, normal for her until she was able to escape. And that's the words that she and her lawyer use, is that she escaped. because it's mind abuse as well as sexual abuse. So just one flight log. I'll show you one more flight log. Good old Bill in a bit. Here's a little bit more, again, from this document dump, a preliminary statement that kind of, this is also very disturbing, but talks about the flight logs and information and all of that. So, after sitting on Ms. Jewfrey's first request for production for 4 months, defendant only produced 2 documents. Defendant acknowledges that she has other responsive documents, but she is withholding them from production. Flight logs demonstrate the incredibly close relationship between defendant and convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein at the time they were abusing Ms. Jewfrey and then other minors. Defendant flew on Jeffrey Epstein's private plane no less than 360 times, and over 20 times with Ms. Jewfrey when Ms. Jewfrey was a minor child. Message pads from law enforcement's trash pool of Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach mansion. Why were those in the trash, Epstein, if you had nothing to hide? Interesting. These message pads show Maxwell in regular contact with him, including defendant arranging for Epstein to meet with underage girls. So it's right there in the message pads. These, again, it was either staff or Jewfrey or Ghislaine. There were a variety of people taking these messages down, but it was right there. Like, clearly some of these messages were from underage girls. And I'll show you some of them in a bit. This evidence alone rebuts defendant's specious objections that seeking documents relating to defendant's trafficking of other underage girls is merely a fishing expedition. Indeed, over 30 underage girls were recruited for Epstein's sex abuse, most of which were recruited after Ms. Jewfrey escaped. Therefore, discovery requests concerning defendant's continued trafficking of minors and continued contact with her co-conspirators, including payments from Epstein, are relevant and discoverable. And that's one of the things that Ghislaine Maxwell has done, is she's tried to say that she cut off contact or wasn't in contact with Epstein, for such a long time. But it turns out that she was, of course, lying, that she was indeed in touch with Epstein pretty recently. A lot of lies. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the super chats and then dive into more of what we've learned. Scrolling. Smash that like button, guys. We're up to 429 viewers. Woohoo. Greg Allen, $4.99 in the super chat. August 10th, New York storm Epstein's mansion, 9 East 71st Street, noon. So I think that's the Upper East Side. So yeah, great suggestion, Greg Allen. Definitely, people need to show that they support these victims and that they're not going to stand for this corruption and burying these disgusting things that happen. Like, it's so crazy. In a sane world, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell would have been in jail eons ago. Yikes. Kathy Lloyd, $50 in the super chat. Thank you. Jen, I think you are adorable and do such a great job. Love the Status Coup family. I take the grandmother role. I love that, Kathy. And you are a frequent contributor as well, and it means so much. You guys help keep our reporting going. Keep those super chats coming. It's just, it's heartwarming, really. LJL, $10 in the super chat. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. I will try. Julian says, post the site for docs again. I will. Let me grab the link again. And 1 second. Paul says the best damn viewers on YouTube. That is so true. Presence says, Jen, the butler would have been killed, no joke. I know, like, I understand that there are things that could happen to these people, but I feel like there's a way to do it anonymously. It's a hard call, but I think that the people in this world were not doing by any means all that they could. Catherine Rawson, $5 in the super chat. Thank you. I believe another issue contributing to these problems is our lack of sex ed from earlier on in life. Too many traumatized adults out there still. I completely agree with you. I don't mind telling people or like being upfront that I was sexually abused as a very young girl, and of course that was traumatizing, but then later on in life I had this stepmother and my father became uber conservative Christian religious, and so I basically had no sex ed except for the very like boiled down type that you get in health class, and it was like embarrassing to talk about sex or to be aware of that. So I think you're right, like on the right track, Catherine. Okay, so here I am pasting in the link to the court docs. You can find them all there. There are a lot of docs, so beware. And you're going to want to search for the ones from like 2015, 2016, 2017, in that kind of era. So let's go back to this. So this is from New York Magazine. What we've learned from the newly unsealed Jeffrey Epstein documents. A federal judge on Thursday unsealed hundreds of pages of documents containing an endless stream of disturbing details related to the allegations against Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So, if you weren't aware of the date, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested on July 2nd. So among the documents is a deposition from Virginia Roberts Jewfrey, who in 2015 filed and later settled a defamation suit against Maxwell. Jewfrey was working at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago. I'm not going to read all this to you. Maxwell's lawyers fought the release of the documents, leading U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska to say she was troubled but not surprised that Ms. Maxwell has yet again sought to muddy the waters as the clock ticks closer to midnight. There is a continuing dispute over additional documents, including the transcript of a 2016 Maxwell deposition, which could be released Monday, pending the intervention of an appellate court. And I think that is going to be like a lot of the meat of this. I'm guessing she lied. I'm guessing that Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't exactly forthcoming in her testimony, but hopefully, there's something to be learned from there. There's a reason why she's trying to block its release. There's a reason. So I'm hopeful that we will get those documents on Monday, but I'm not getting my hopes up. I didn't even, after the confusing reporting from the other day, I wasn't even sure we were getting these. I thought we weren't. So thankfully we did. So here's one thing that we've learned from these docs to kind of sum it up for you. Maxwell and Epstein were in touch in 2015. In a court filing earlier this month, Maxwell's lawyers asserted that she had not been in touch with Epstein for a decade prior to his 2019 arrest. Again, she was trying to distance herself from Epstein. But among the documents released Thursday were typo-riddled emails from Epstein to Maxwell in which the late sex predator encouraged her to carry herself like an innocent woman. You have done nothing wrong, and I would urge you to start acting like it. Go outside, head high, not as an escaping convict. Go to parties, deal with it. A January 25, 2015 email from Jeffrey E. to Maxwell said. And I believe that message went to G-Max, which was her, nickname on the email platform. In another email, Epstein seemed to suggest a statement for Maxwell to release to the media. It said she has been the target of outright lies, innuendo, slander, defamation, and salacious gossip and harassment, and denied false allegations of impropriety and offensive behavior that I abhor and have never been party to. So, Ms. Maxwell, if you are so innocent, why did you lie about your contact with Epstein? Here we have proof that you were lying. Why lie if you're super innocent? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We also learned constant orgies on Epstein's island. In Jewfrey's deposition, she described the hedonistic scene on Little St. James, the private island Epstein owned in the U.S. Virgin Islands, as a place where orgies were a constant thing that took place. It's impossible to know how many, she said. People had sex poolside, in cabanas, in Epstein's large stony bedroom, and down by the beach, in a tiny wooden room that only could fit a bed in it. So even if they try to say that Virginia Roberts Jewfrey wasn't sexually abused herself, which, according to her testimony, she absolutely was, even if that's not the case, these adults, had her around, this 15 to 17-year-old girl, had her around while orgies were taking place. Does that seem appropriate? It's like a very hedonistic, weird place. These were really weird, disgusting people. These were pedophiles. It's stomach turning. We also learned that Maxwell was more than a madam. Maxwell didn't just participate in the grooming of Epstein's victims, Jewfrey said. She had sex with them, too. In her deposition, Jewfrey said she often had sex with Epstein, Maxwell, and another person whose name is redacted. So, going back to the previous point, Jewfrey saying she was part of these orgies. Jewfrey suggested that the sex was not consensual, saying at one point that she had to go down on Ghislaine. She also said Maxwell and Epstein regularly warned her not to piss them off, referring to it as an indirect threat that left her scared. Regarding the young women she saw Maxwell have sex with, Jewfrey said, "I don't believe that any of the girls involved were truly willing participants, doing it out of their own wanting." So this is a lot of what people expected. Some of this was kind of out already, but this goes into more detail about the specific role that Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly played. So, when people think of Ghislaine Maxwell, maybe those who just loosely followed the case or the cases, the multiple cases, they see her as someone who was procuring young girls for Jeffrey Epstein. But from Robert Jewfrey's testimony, it was a lot more than that. It was, Ghislaine was actually sexually assaulting and abusing and raping young girls too. So that has to be kind of explored and made more public. And if true, and I suspect it is, then Ghislaine Maxwell needs to be held to account for her many, many, many crimes. Jewfrey's first meeting with Maxwell. We've already kind of touched on this, where she was working at Mar-a-Lago and Ghislaine saw her reading the massage book, and that's how they, and she convinced her by saying they could train her in massage, can help along the way, and if the guy likes you, you'll make good money. So that's how she kind of swayed Virginia Roberts Jewfrey. A list of powerful people is the next point. When asked in the deposition to name the politically connected and financially powerful people that Ghislaine Maxwell told you to go have sex with, Jewfrey provided a list. On it were Prince Andrew, Alan Dershowitz, former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, New York hedge fund manager Glenn Dubin, artificial intelligence pioneer Marvin Minsky, and former model agency manager Jean-Luc Brunel. I think, and I truly suspect that as this case goes on, that more and more names will be released. Unfortunately, I think that some of these really powerful, wealthy, connected people will go unnoted. So they did these horrible things too, but history won't know about it. We won't know about it. And that's really unfortunate. I really think this web was huge. The people who are doing the abusing was huge. And Jeffrey Epstein allegedly had blackmail on these people. So they had to kind of toe the line and do whatever Epstein wanted because they'd done such depraved things. And of course, Jeffrey Epstein knew about it. So I hope that as many people as possible are brought to justice. The victims deserve it. Bill Clinton on Epstein's Island. Among the documents released Thursday was the transcript of a conversation Jewfrey had with her lawyers in 2011, in which Jewfrey says that she was on Epstein's private island with Bill Clinton, Maxwell, and 2 young girls from New York. When she asked Epstein why the former president was there, Jewfrey said he told her that Clinton owed him favors. She wasn't sure if that was a joke, though. I remember asking Jeffrey, "What's Bill Clinton doing here?" kind of thing. And he laughed it off and said, "Well, he owes me a favor," she said. "He never told me what favors they were. I never knew. I didn't know if he was serious. It was just a joke." On Friday, Clinton's spokesperson told Newsweek that the former president has never been to Little St. James Island. So some pretty damning information, a lot of which I covered in my earlier video, but it goes to show you that this case is so deep. There are so many pieces to this, and as I said, I haven't even made a dent in the documents that have been released. So I can only imagine if we get those other Ghislaine Maxwell documents on Monday, like what that's going to say. We just need to learn as much as we can and hold people like Bill Clinton to account. And another thing that I brought up in that earlier video was how gross it is to me that certain normie Democrats, as I call them, refuse to believe that Bill Clinton has ever done a thing wrong in his life. This is a guy who's been accused of rape, who had sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky, who was then thoroughly harassed and bullied for her entire life by these normie Dems. And Bill Clinton is on the flight logs. Bill Clinton is implicated in this for allegedly having also sexually abused young girls. He was reportedly on the island, despite his protests to the contrary, saying he was never on that island. And he said he had only gone to the New York location. There's a lot that Bill Clinton has said. He also said that he was only on Epstein's plane 4 times, where we know through Gawker way back when that it was at least 11 times and now suspected to be up to 26 times. So just a lot of dodging here. Okay, let me check in on you guys. Hello, everybody. Yeah, definitely check out the court docs. All right. Sam says we have to decolonize our system so we can actually see justice. I definitely agree. And so many, you guys are so great, so nice. Jilly, I'm so sorry for what you went through. That's horrible. Oh my gosh, it makes me so sad that so many people have gone through this. It's horrifying. And Annie Moose says, because white men get away with everything. And that's true. That's absolutely true. It's horrifying. So let me once again post the link to these docs before I dive in again. So far I've been streaming for 67 minutes. If you might be able to see how many tabs I have open, so I'll decide, as we go, how much I'm going to keep reporting. One thing for this stream at least. I'm going to keep reporting in general, of course. Smash that like button, don't forget. And also, guys, go to our Status Coup store and grab yourself a Status Coup mask. Definitely wonderful. They're cute, but also manly, but also adorable. They're just great for everybody. So go buy one or two, get them for the whole family. They're a great price and they help support our in-field and investigative reporting. One thing I wanted to show you is when you type in Bill Clinton's name into Google, into the news section, you would expect that after today, you would expect that a ton of links and news articles would come up. That's not the case at all. The media, the mainstream media these days is so ridiculous. They're willing to protect people like Bill Clinton. They're willing to protect Jeffrey Epstein. Like, the most consistently posted articles come from the New York Post, which is not, the be-all, end-all of journalism, of course, but they are consistently posting about it. The rest of the media, for the most part, is largely absent. So, of course, with this trove of documents, some people, like some organizations, media outlets, had to write. Like, they had to report on it, but they only went so far. And it's definitely not as many as you would expect reporting specifically on Bill Clinton. So I typed it in, and, we have Fox News, CNN, like, some people are reporting on this stuff, but, like, also on the first page where you would expect this to be overtaking the first page for Bill Clinton, on the news section, Bill Clinton recounts meeting John Lewis for the first time. Former Presidents Bush, Clinton, and more celebrate Bob and Elizabeth Dole's birthdays. Obama delivers call to action and eulogy for Lewis. Funeral of John Lewis. You get the idea. Like, every news outlet should be writing about this. I don't like the protection of Bill Clinton is something I will never understand. You've noticed a trend here. Like, there's a lot that I'll never understand about the nature of people. Like, wrong is wrong. If Bernie, God forbid, were found to have done something abhorrent, I would immediately denounce him. And I'm personally a total Bernie stan. So the hypocrisy of people, especially when it comes to the Clintons, is just beyond. So let's learn what Bill is alleged to have done. This is in the Daily Beast. Epstein accuser says Bill Clinton partied on Pedophile Island. In newly unsealed documents, Virginia Roberts Jewfrey says Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked her to powerful men, and that Epstein bragged Clinton was in his pocket. In newly unsealed documents, one of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's most prominent accusers claims that the perverted duo forced her to have sex with Britain's Prince Andrew and other politically connected and financially powerful people when she was underage. Last Thursday night, a judge ordered the release of a tranche of documents in a long-running defamation case. We've gone through all of that. Let me show you this picture. If you haven't seen this picture yet, this is the one with Ghislaine, Prince Andrew, and Virginia Roberts Jewfrey when she was 17 years old. So that's the now famous picture. Of course, Prince Andrew is denying things. The case was settled in 2015. So, now that these documents have been unsealed, one name in the unsealed papers was that of a former U.S. president. Jewfrey told one attorney that Bill Clinton was a guest during a trip to Epstein's private isle in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and that Epstein joked to her about Clinton being in his pocket. And we talked about this before, that Epstein laughed at her question about Bill and said, well, he owes me a favor. And then she says he never told her what the favors were. She didn't know if he was serious or a joke. Asked who else was present on the island with Epstein and Clinton, Jewfrey answered Maxwell, someone named Emmy, presumably Maxwell's former assistant Emmy Taylor, and 2 young girls from New York. Jewfrey said Clinton and the others visitors stayed in villas separate from the main house. While Jewfrey does not implicate the former president in any wrongdoing, she does note that orgies were routine on the island. A second politician named in the documents was former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. In a 2016 deposition, Jewfrey said Maxwell sent her to New Mexico to give a massage to the Democratic governor. When Ghislaine Maxwell used the words, "Go give a massage to Bill Richardson, where were you?" Maxwell's lawyer asked. "I can't tell you where we were. I know where I was sent to. I don't know where we were when she told me to do that." Maxwell also allegedly sent Jewfrey to have sex with the owner of a large hotel chain during a visit to France. So I'm going to tell you what the rumor is about the owner of this large hotel chain. I've heard it's a Pritzker. Again, this is rumor, not verified. I've heard it's a Pritzker, the owners of the Hyatt chain. So rumor, take it for what it's worth. Hyatt. Asked where they had sex, Jewfrey said, in his own cabana townhouse thing, it was part of a hotel, but I wouldn't call it a hotel. Jeffrey was staying there, Ghislaine was staying there, Emmy was staying there, I was staying there. This other guy was staying there. I didn't know his name. Jewfrey added that Maxwell directed her to have sex with the late MIT scientist Marvin Minsky at Epstein's Caribbean compound. Other men to whom Jewfrey claimed to have been trafficked include Prince Andrew, financier Glenn Dubin, model scout Jean-Luc Brunel, Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz, and another prince. Of course, they all denied her claims. In her testimony, Jewfrey painted a disturbing picture of Epstein's wealthy lifestyle. She said Epstein had a secret room with a whole bunch of decorative pictures of pornographic literature and sex toys. From the ceiling to the floor, the walls were covered with pornographic pictures of the girls that he had met, she said. Images of herself would be added to this collection, she said. Ghislaine took several nude photographs of me for Jeffrey. Maxwell also allegedly dressed Jewfrey up in schoolgirl outfits for Epstein. This included lots of role-playing with latex, too, Jewfrey told a lawyer. Jeffrey loved the latex outfits Ghislaine had for us girls. He had bondage outfits. He had all different kinds of outfits, but his favorite was the schoolgirl. In addition to teaching Jewfrey how to sexually service Epstein, Maxwell also allegedly trained her in how to recruit other girls for the financier. So that's one element here. Allegedly, girls who were already, pulled into the Epstein world, were told to recruit other girls to bring in. And if they recruited other girls to bring in, then they would be paid a bonus or a fee, like a finder's fee. So that seems to be, in addition to Ghislaine allegedly recruiting, other girls were allegedly recruiting. And a lot of these girls, from reporting and some books that I've read, were kind of down on their luck. And so the money was really appealing. And they were gaslighted by these people and abused by these people. So it's really, really sad. It's no surprise that Virginia Roberts Jewfrey says that Epstein wanted her and potentially others to dress up in little schoolgirl outfits. What a depraved man. Absolutely disgusting. Let's see here. Jeffrey and Ghislaine both taught me to, depending on the circumstances, depending on the girl, you could offer them a job as a massage therapist, Jewfrey said. Or you could tell them that you have a really rich friend with, great contacts in the acting world or modeling world, and he loves pretty girls. You should come back and meet them. Make some money, We had a whole bunch of ways to be able to procure girls. Within 9 months of meeting Epstein, he began to send her to his friends, she said. Was there ever any discussion with Jeffrey about what was expected to happen when you provided massage services to one of Jeffrey's friends? In a roundabout way, yes, Jewfrey replied. In so many ways, Jewfrey really had to train me. And that was why Ghislaine said that she and Jewfrey enjoyed me so much, was because they never really had to speak much to tell me what they wanted me to do. I wasn't waiting for them for, their directions. Jewfrey would tell me to go give an erotic massage to friends. He wouldn't give me much detail about it, but he would say to treat them like you treat me. So on Epstein's plane, allegedly she was forced to have sex with Epstein and Maxwell. Jewfrey said the flight crew was told to knock before coming into the cabin. Jewfrey believed they knew what was happening. It doesn't take an idiot to put 2 and 2 together to say, well, there's a whole bunch of half-dressed teenagers on board with this old man who is constantly being massaged by them. Jewfrey listed bold-faced names who also flew on Epstein's private jet, including Naomi Campbell, model Heidi Klum, Clinton, former Vice President Al Gore, and Simpsons co-creator Matt Groening, as well as Jacques Cousteau's granddaughter, Alexandra. Let's see here. Jewfrey said other participants included girls named Emmy and Sarah, perhaps Epstein's longtime assistant and alleged co-conspirator, Sarah Kellen. And Sarah Kellen deserves a heck of a look into as well. So you guys, I'm going to be looking more into Sarah Kellen. You do too if you are interested in digging. Let's see. Epstein boasted about the ages of the girls with whom he had relationships. The worst one that I heard was from his own mouth was these pretty 12-year-old girls he had flown in for his birthday. It was a surprise birthday gift from one of his friends, and they were from France. I did see them. I did meet them. Jewfrey bragged afterwards, after he met them, that they were 12-year-olds and flown over from France because they're really poor over there, and their parents needed the money. 12 years old. And these girls were often recruited because of desperation for money, that they needed money or their family needed money, or they were potentially abused by their parents or had like a bad home life. So they saw hope in hooking up with the Epstein world. It's just really sad. And, personally, I don't think there's any real reason to doubt Virginia Jewfrey's claims. Like, what does she have to gain of making this up? And there's enough corroborating evidence and testimony and other victims. Like, in my opinion, this doesn't seem made up. This isn't just a story. I believe this stuff happened. Now it's time to prove it in court. Let's see. The transcript also highlights another horrifying and previously reported accusation, that Epstein and Maxwell wanted Jewfrey to have his child. Jewfrey told one lawyer that Epstein offered her a mansion and monthly income to have his baby. And allegedly she would have to sign the child over to him if anything happened. Oh, and here's another rabbit hole. Les Wexner. Jewfrey also signaled out Epstein's only known client, Victoria's Secret mogul Les Wexner, as someone who might have information on the alleged sex trafficking ring. Also, when asked whether magician David Copperfield or music don Tommy Mottola might have relevant information, she said she didn't know. In addition to Wexner, Jewfrey listed 85 individuals as witnesses with knowledge of the alleged abuse, including Epstein's staffers, a traveling chef for the financier, a person who worked for Ghislaine Maxwell, and has information about Ghislaine Maxwell's recruiting of girls for Jeffrey Epstein. And a young woman named Joanna Jobjerg, who worked for Epstein and was also present at an occasion with Prince Andrew. So Maxwell countered with a list of 75 people who would support her story. Maxwell's lawyers accused Jewfrey of lying, of course. The documents also appear to show Jeffrey Epstein himself coaching Maxwell on how to respond to allegations against her. with one email from Jewfrey E. showing a statement that the financier appears to have penned for her. I have never been a party in any criminal action pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein, the statement reads, after first condemning lies, innuendo, slander in the press. While much of the email is written in the first person as if it is meant to be coming from Maxwell, the author, presumably Epstein, appears to slip up at one point. I am not part of, nor did you have anything to do with, Jeffrey Epstein's plea bargain. Just a heck of a lot of disgusting stuff there. I just, as I said, a lot of times there are no words to say, we have to keep digging, we have to keep exploring, we have to keep reporting, but it's discouraging what Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have gotten away with in the past, in the very recent past. So I see we have some more super chats. Taking a look at the chat here, checking in with everybody. Smash that like button if you haven't already. We're just getting started here. So let's see here. Scrolling. Catherine Rawson, $5 in the super chat. Thank you so much. I live in a tourist town where there are mysterious fancy condos and large homes for the ultra wealthy to rent out. It's scary. Yeah, it sounds it. You never know what could happen when it comes to powerful and wealthy people. It's absolutely scary. Gino Fast, $4.99 in the super chat. Thank you. Hi, Jen. Thanks for reporting on this. I heard Maxwell was holding up in a remote mansion somewhere before she was arrested. Do you know where that was? Yes, she was in New Hampshire, and she had paid all in cash for this mansion or really big house. Paid all in cash, living in New Hampshire with either her boyfriend or husband. People are trying to figure out if they were married or not. There's little known. She was kind of hiding away for so long, but they got her. They got her in New Hampshire. Alex G, $4.99 in the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. Wonderful. The super chats help so much. They help us keep going. They help us keep reporting. Jacqueline LeBlue, yay! 50 pounds in the super chat. You are just amazing. I don't even know how to say thank you anymore. Just so incredible. And to think I not only used to look like old Bill, I was young, but also had a slight crush on Andrew. I was even younger and already an Anglophile, but still. Also, and totally unrelated, did you know that you've adopted Jordan's 222 verbal tic? I do know. But I feel like there's really no other way, like when you're looking for something live or just need to fill up space. You don't want people to think you've disappeared. So you have to do something. I guess that seems like the easiest thing to do. But you're totally forgiven for your crush on Bill. My secret is that when I don't know how old I was that 1992? My history, I don't know. But my dad was volunteering for Bill Clinton, and so I helped make pro Bill Clinton posters, and yikes. So you never know. I regret it for sure. So let me once again put in, that's the wrong link, but I'll send it anyway. This is the link for masks, and this is the link for the court docs. I want as many people as possible digging through this stuff. Let's all work together. I'm going to be digging a lot. I'm going to be reporting a lot, but many hands make light work. So smash the like button if you haven't already. Consider buying a mask. I also want to let you guys know that we have a membership where it's just $5 a month, and you first of all help support in field and investigative reporting. Like literally, membership is what keeps us going. Membership is so important, and in light of COVID, we have lost a lot of members. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We get emails from people all the time saying that they have to cancel. They're so sorry, but money is tight due to COVID, lost jobs, or income insecurity. So if you have the means to do it, please join. $5 a month. You get behind the scenes videos, behind the scenes video diaries, behind the scenes photos, behind the scenes reporting, like extra stuff we drop in there sometimes. And you get in on our member calls. So depending on the level you join at, you get some added things too if you join at a higher level, but $5 gets you in. And the member calls are so fun. We Jordan and I spill way too much information, and it's a great time. We talk, you ask us any question you want to, and we just have a blast. It's a really cool time. It's a way for us to get to know each other more. So go to statuscoup.com/join. Do it now while you're thinking about it. It really helps us keep going. Michael has put the link in the chat. Thank you so much. statuscoup.com/join. And what did I see that I wanted to comment on? Oh, Gino Fast, $4.99 in the super chat. Status Coup Tank is coming this week. Yay! So as he has pointed out, as Gino has pointed out, you can buy all sorts of things. Status Coup tank top, Status Coup t-shirt, Status Coup face mask, Status Coup towel, Status Coup wall hanging, Status Coup stickers, like all sorts of things. I'm also gonna add soon like fanny packs and backpacks. There's a lot of stuff, a lot more things that we can add. People want capes too. Yeah, enamel pins, buttons are a great idea. We definitely need to find a way to do that too, because I think a lot of people would like those. And the capes too, Munted Gronk. People, yeah, we have so many great people here who deserve capes for all they do for us and help us with. Okay, back to the news. So here is just one example. This is a flight log. One example from 2002 of President Bill Clinton being on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. He shows up again and again. This is just one page. So just so you know. And we've talked a lot about Alan Dershowitz. I talked about it in my email earlier, but I think it's important because Alan Dershowitz is he's super into proclaiming from the hills of Twitter that he's innocent, that he did nothing wrong. But at the very least, Alan Dershowitz helped Jeffrey Epstein get an insane plea deal where he basically served no jail time, and it was like everything was secret, and like even the people around him, things were secret and confidential, and like he was complicit in helping a alleged child sex trafficker, alleged child rapist to basically get off. Alan Dershowitz is not a good guy in any sense of the word. He's completely disgusting. I'm not going to spend too much time on him. Check out my earlier video if you want to learn more. Let's see here. Oh, so this is the email from Jeffrey to GMAX, one of the emails. The full email, I'll just go ahead and read it. Since Jeffrey Epstein was charged in 2007 for solicitation of a prostitute, I have been the target of outright lies, innuendo, slander, defamation, and salacious gossip and harassment. Headlines made up of quotes I have never given, statements I have never made, trips with people to places I have never been, holidays with people I have never met, false allegations of impropriety and offensive behavior that I abhor and have never ever been party to, witness to events that I have never seen, living off trust funds that I have never ever had, party to stories that have changed materially in both time and place and event depending on what paper you read, and the list goes on. Well, Ghislaine, tell it to the judge. So here is Dershowitz. Again, I'm not going to read all of this because I went into it in depth on my earlier video. Definitely check that out. So newly unsealed Ghislaine Maxwell documents claim Alan Dershowitz got Epstein a sweetheart plea deal in order to gain immunity for himself against allegations that he raped an underage girl numerous times in New York, Florida, New Mexico, U.S. Virgin Islands, and on airplanes. So you can go to Andrew Feinberg's Twitter and see this part of this court doc. Let me just show you. Part of this court doc that is really, really just, like, as Andrew Feinberg says, whoa. I'll drop the link in the chat for you. Okay. So, and then there's this from Forbes, a 2014 document filed by two unnamed women claiming to be Epstein's victims, says one of the women, Jane Doe number 3, so that would be Virginia Roberts, was kept by him as a sex slave. Well, maybe it's a different Jane Doe, because I don't think Roberts said that. Jane Doe number 3 in the new docs is Virginia Roberts Jewfrey, so I'm actually not clear on this one, was kept by him as a sex slave from about 1999 through 2002. The 2014 document also names former Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz as one of the people Jane Doe number 3 was trafficked to. Dershowitz did not respond to a request for comment by Forbes, but has previously denied Jewfrey's claims that she was forced to have sex with him. For some reason, Jezebel is saying that Dershowitz has been tragically absent. I'm sure they're saying this in jest, from his favorite nude beach in Martha's Vineyard this summer, but he still finds time to write rousing defenses of two alleged sex traffickers, so perhaps we'll hear from him soon. So, some interesting commentary there by good old Jezebel. So next we'll quickly get into Prince Andrew. Again, I went more in depth into this in an earlier video. This is out of The Guardian. Underage girl forced to have sex with Prince Andrew, U.S. court document claims. And as a reminder, Prince Andrew, he recently retired from public life, and he's been really trying to stay out of the limelight quite a bit lately. So as I say with this case and other things, where there's smoke, there's fire. Let's see here. A document claims Epstein instructed the girl, referred to as Jane Doe number 3, but known to be Virginia Roberts Jewfrey, to give the prince whatever he demanded and report back to him on the details of the sexual abuse. Goes into some of the background there of Epstein, which we've already covered. The papers, part of prior litigation, also contain the claim that Andrew tried to lobby the U.S. on behalf of Epstein to help secure a favorable plea arrangement. The papers are part of a 2015 civil court battle between Epstein and his former girlfriend, Galen Maxwell, which we already know. A friend of Prince Andrew said, the U.S. Federal Appeals Court said in 2019 these allegations should be treated with extreme caution. Allegations are not the same as facts, blah, blah, blah. Lawyers for two other alleged victims in the 2015 civil case, referred to as Jane Doe number 1 and number 2, requested the release of documents showing the alleged lobbying by the prince. And again, we don't know who Jane Doe number 1 and number 2 are. Number 3 is Virginia Roberts Jewfrey. Let's see here. It claimed in the Unsealed papers that an island orgy was one of 3 occasions when Jane Doe number 3 was forced to have sex with Andrew. The other locations were Maxwell's London flat and in New York. No precise dates are given for the alleged incidents, but it is claimed Jane Doe number 3 was first approached by Maxwell in 1999. When she was 15, Epstein kept her as a sex slave from about 1999 to 2002. Okay, so in that previous article, that was Virginia Roberts Jewfrey. Similar allegations about Prince Andrew having sex with an underage girl were ordered to be struck from court records in 2015 in the civil case. At the time, the judge did not rule on the veracity of the claims. And the rest we know. So there's a little bit about Prince Andrew. I think I think what's important here is we have to keep the focus on the victims. And these alleged victims, they're not the powerful ones. They're the ones who've been fighting since childhood to, cope with what happened to them. And now they are grown-ups who are still trying to just get by, after these horrible things happened. And the strength of these victims to come forward, for Virginia Roberts Jewfrey to go through these multiple court battles, it's just inspiring. It's these victims deserve justice. I'll say it over and over again. They're up against powerful people. Alan Dershowitz has connections. Prince Andrew has a heck of a lot of connections and a heck of a lot of royals who don't want him convicted of anything. Ghislaine Maxwell is very well connected. Going up against power like this is absolute bravery. So hats off to these poor victims who are so strong even after what was done to them. So this is part of testimony from someone who worked for Jeffrey Epstein. So this is just to kind of highlight the girls that were in, and then what he would find after these massage, in air quotes, massage sessions. Question: none of these girls ring a bell at all? Answer: either they came one time, one day, and they didn't even tell me their names, or he paid for it that I don't have, but none of those names sound familiar to me. He had previously read off some names. You testified that there were about the sex toys that you would pick up after there were massages, correct? Question: the vibrators, correct? And then you can answer, and he says yes. Question: and you mentioned there was a basket with these vibrators or toys in them, correct? Answer: yes. Where was the basket kept? Answer: in Ms. Maxwell's closet. And that was in the master bedroom? Or off the master bedroom? Answer: her bathroom. And the entrance to the closet was in her bathroom? Answer: that's correct. And so he asks more questions about the location. Question: and that's where I think you used the word dildo, correct? That's where they were located? Answer: yes, sir. Question: was there occasions where one or more dildos would be out and you would clean them up after a massage that only Mr. Epstein had, not Ms. Maxwell? Answer: I will say that it was about 3 or 4 occasions that I had to take these dildos and put it back where they were supposed to be. And I took it with gloves and towels and stuck it in the sink and throw it in there. Sometimes Ms. Maxwell would have a massage, and sometimes I find it after she's supposed to have a massage, those things. And also when Mr. Epstein had the massage. So I don't know who used it on who, because sometimes they all disappear up there. So I think you've seen enough from this part of the document, but I just, if Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were getting massages, why do you need sex toys? We know that these alleged victims were underaged. At least a lot of them were underaged. So I don't really know of any massage places that required the use of dildos and other sex toys. It doesn't make any sense. So this testimony from a worker of Jeffrey Epstein's is important because it adds weight to the testimony of victims like Virginia Roberts Jewfrey. Like, clearly there's no need for sex toys in a massage with a young girl. No, just not. And it points to Ghislaine Maxwell as also using these sex toys with young girls. Terrible. Let's see here. So this is just another piece of testimony talking about the sex toys. So because I've been going on for so long, let me skip that one. And here is another piece from a worker. Let's see here. Question: did you ever voice that opinion that you didn't think that it was right that these young girls were over behind closed doors upstairs with Mr. Epstein in his bedroom? The witness: I have been asked that question before. Question: by whom? Answer: Palm Beach Police Department. Question: did you give the same answer, that you did not think it was right? Answer: yes. Question: and what about it to you, aside from the fact that you have a daughter roughly the same age, what besides that told you that it wasn't right? Answer: ask me your question again. So he does. Answer: it wasn't. Question: it wasn't right? Answer: it wasn't. Question: and why not? Answer: because I am a father. Question: and given Mr. Epstein's wealth and power and influence, is that something that you, as a father, could have seen your daughters doing at that age? Answer: I don't think that my daughters would be doing that. Question: you would hope not. Answer: no, exactly. So here we have a worker in this document who is, it seems like he's horrified by the thought of his own daughters being caught up in this world that Jeffrey Epstein had, that he would be horrified if his daughters were treated the way that the other young girls were treated by Jeffrey Epstein. So again, this adds weight to the allegations of these girls, of these alleged victims. And I still, like, this man having young daughters, how could he work there? Like, maybe he felt threatened that he couldn't say anything, but why would he work there and continue to help run this Jeffrey Epstein tangled web of alleged sexual abuse of young girls? Like, hopefully he's telling the truth now. Maybe he knows a lot more, maybe he doesn't. But it's just, why? Like, come forward. You had young girls of your own. How could you be complicit in this? So here is part, let me check the chat quickly. 1 second. Smash the like button. We're back up to 425 viewers. Smash that like button. Let me see if I missed any comments here. Love that so many people are here on a late Friday, especially since this topic is really a downer. Listen to Dave D. He says, if you're not a member, a Status Coup member, it's only $5 a month. Skip that latte. Go to statuscoup.com/join. Let's see here. Let's see. Yes. Termurishka says they were children. That's absolutely right. And that is something we need to remind ourselves. Like, don't listen to the media that very wrongly calls these young women. They were young girls. There's a difference between girls and women. Dave D also says, have you picked up your Status Coup masks? Definitely grab one. They are super cool and they help us keep reporting. So, all right, let's smash the like button, share this stream, join Status Coup. That's your to-do list. Let's go back in and see some more from this document dump. So this is from Jeffrey Epstein's message pad. So staff would take notes, Ghislaine would take notes, Jeffrey would take notes, like a lot of people would take notes. So I want to highlight this one. There are a lot of pages of these. There are 2 separate documents containing these messages. I believe that they were fished out of the trash when Jeffrey Epstein put them there. So this message was taken for Jeffrey in 2005. And it says, she is wondering if 2:30 is okay, as she needs to stay in school. Let me read that again. She is wondering if 2:30 is okay because she needs to stay in school. In school. Young girl in school. Like, and there are other damning, like there's a note about delivering flowers to a girl's high school. Oh, the evidence is there. Like, there's enough here. And the person who took that message knew, like, school. They knew. And then another staffer delivered the flowers to the other girl's high school. Why would Jeffrey Epstein be giving flowers to a high school girl? Why? A lot here. So this is another section where it might be triggering, so please be aware of that. On December 12th, 2005, due to a conflict with schedules, arrangements were made to meet with Redacted on Tuesday, December 13th, 2005 at 5 p.m. On December 13th, 2005, Detective Dawson and I traveled Redacted and met Redacted. During a sworn taped statement, Redacted stated that when she was 16 years old, she was taken to Epstein's house to provide a massage for money. Redacted stated it was before Christmas last year when Redacted approached her and asked if she needed to make money for Christmas. Redacted stated she did and agreed to provide a massage for money. Redacted made arrangements to take Redacted to the house and drove Redacted to the house to work. Redacted stated she could not remember the street name but would be able to drive to the street. They drove to the last house on the street and pulled in the last house on the left side. They walked up the driveway and entered through a side gate which led to a kitchen door. They knocked on the door and were encountered by an employee who Redacted described as a Spanish-looking lady. They informed her that they were expected. They were then encountered by a white female with long blonde hair. Redacted was unable to remember the name of the white female with blonde hair, but she knew she was Epstein's assistant. She was led upstairs by the white female who explained that there would be lotions out already, and Epstein would choose the lotion he wanted her to use. She was led through a spiral staircase, which led up to a master bedroom and bathroom. The massage table was already set up in the bathroom. Redacted described the bathroom as a large, spacious bathroom with a steam room and shower beside it, with a sink to the right. Redacted was introduced to Jeff, who was on the phone when she entered. Jeff was wearing a white towel and lay on his stomach so that Redacted may massage his feet and calves. Redacted started the massage with the massage oil Jeff chose and rubbed his feet and calves. Jeff got off the phone and requested she massage his back as well. Redacted began rubbing his back and got to the small of his back. During the rubbing of his back, Jeff asked her to get comfortable. He requested she remove her pants and shirt. Again, this is a 16-year-old. Redacted removed her shirt and pulled her pants off. Redacted stayed in her bra and thong panties. As she finished the small of the back, Jeff then turned onto his back. He instructed she rub his chest and pinch his nipples. This guy has a real nipple thing, too. As she, Redacted, remembered telling him she attended Redacted. Jeff asked her if she was sexually active. Before Redacted could answer, he also asked what sexual positions does she enjoy. Redacted stated she was shy, didn't like talking about those things. She continued rubbing his chest. Epstein reached up and unsnapped her bra from the front. Redacted explained the bra she used had a front snapping device. Epstein rubbed her breasts and asked her if she liked having her breasts rubbed. Redacted said, "No, I don't like that." Epstein then removed his towel and lay on the bed naked, exposing his penis to Redacted. He began touching his penis and masturbated as he touched her breasts. Redacted explained Jeff then touched her vagina area by rubbing her vagina with his fingers on the outside of her thong panties. Redacted tensed up and stated Jeff was aware that she was uncomfortable. Redacted stated that Jeff told her, "Relax, I'm not going inside." She further explained Jeff commented to her how beautiful and sexy she was. Jeff then moved her thong panties to one side and now was stroking her clitoris. So, I'm not going to read further because it gets even more disgusting and is triggering, but there's one case. There is one case. Here's yet another one. Again, trigger warning for sure. Keep those super chats coming if you can. They help us keep reporting. Make sure I didn't miss any. Nope. Okay. Here's another case. Upon our arrival to the police station, Robson was brought to the interview room with the detective bureau. I explained to Robson that I appreciated her willingness to assist us and informed her that should she desire to leave the room at any time, she may do so. Robson stated when she turned 17 years of age, she was approached by a friend, Molly, in the Canopy Beach Resort in Riviera Beach. Robson was asked if she wanted to make money. She was told she would have to provide a massage and should make $200. Robson thought about the offer and agreed to meet with Jewfrey. Molly, unknown last name, and Tony, unknown last name, picked her up and she was taken to Epstein's house. Upon her arrival at the house, she was introduced to Epstein in the kitchen of the house. She was also introduced to a white female known to her as Sarah. She was led upstairs to the main bedroom known to her as Jeff Epstein's bedroom. Sarah arranged the massage table and covered the table with a sheet. She brought out the massage oils and laid them next to the massage bed. Sarah then left the room and informed her Jeff would be in a minute. Jeff entered the bedroom wearing only a towel. He lay on the table onto his stomach and picked massage oil for Robson to rub on him. During the massage, Robson stated he tried to touch me and I stopped him. I asked how he tried to touch her. He grabbed her buttocks and she felt uncomfortable. Robson also stated Epstein has a vibrator, which is large and white in color. Robson told Epstein, I'll massage you, but I don't want to be touched. Robson stated she performed the massage naked. At the conclusion of the massage, Epstein paid Robson $200. He explained, I know you're not comfortable, but I'll pay you if you bring some girls. He told her the younger the better. Robson stated she once tried to bring a 23-year-old female, and Epstein stated that female was too old. Robson was asked how many girls she brought in total to Epstein. Robson stated 6 that she can remember, and she named the victims, but it's redacted. So you get the idea of this horrific, there's story after story like this. Like those 2 documents that I showed you, they're full of stories that in many ways match what Virginia Roberts Jewfrey has said. So I'm going to stay on this. I definitely urge everyone to dig too. It's a lot of documents, but it's really important. And if you find anything that you want us to know about or things you think are important, by all means, please email info@statuscoup.com. I'm getting to 2 hours of live streaming, so let's end soon. But first, ask me any questions you have. Leave any super chats you want to leave. Buy any masks you want to mask. So we have, 1 second. We have a super chat, a super duper chat. Chip Walter, $5 in the super chat. Thank you, Status Coup. Thank you so much, Chip Walter. It means so much. I say it over and over again, but every super chat touches my heart. It makes what we're doing, the stories themselves are super important, but it's really validating to have so many comments and so many super chats. And the super chats are part of what keeps us going. The other thing is our membership, statuscoup.com/join, $5. Munted Gronk, $5. Thanks, Jen. Thank you, Munted Gronk, so much. So ask me any questions. Let me pop in the court docs one last time. And by the way, I know that I mentioned I've barely scratched the surface of what's in these docs, and that's the truth. So we went 2 hours today talking about just the surface of what's in these docs. So Pathan asks, thank you, Jen, the old stuff, is there a link to it? There actually are links to it, and strangely, this was really weird. Earlier today on Twitter, I was looking for the docs, and I kept seeing, this one link shared over and over again. So I clicked it, and I was fooled for a second. It said, like, here are the new docs, and I was like, okay, great. And then I looked at the date, and it said 2019, and I saw so many accounts sharing these 2019 docs and purporting them to be from the 2020 docs. So I find that really, really suspicious. I tweeted about it earlier. Super weird. Lightweaver asked me to include the link to the docs when I post the live stream. I definitely will. I will add it right after I end. Ludo Anders says the redactions can be revealed by copy pasting. Yes, they really improperly redacted a lot of these documents, so you truly can unredact them yourself by copying and pasting them into a text doc. So it's kind of weird. Garden Boots says, Jen, be kind to yourself and don't forget about self-care. This may be triggering for you. Stay strong. Garden Boots, it's definitely triggering for me, but I think it's also, on the flip side, like, it's so important to me to dig into this and to do my part in as far as reporting to help these girls find justice and to help bring the bad people down. So I think that drives me even more. I'm definitely, I'm in therapy twice a week. So like I'm okay. And I've talked to her about reporting on this, and she too, my therapist too, thinks that it's like an important thing for me to do. So I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. It's important to me to report on this. Anna Maxa says 7 pages of links. Wow. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Throwaway says some of the redacted PDFs didn't have the redaction flattened, and you can highlight the text to find out what's underneath. Yes. Yep. You can unredact it yourself. Susan Mercurio says young girls make great victims, or maybe you're just posting someone else's, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's young girls are historically victims of powerful men. It's absolutely horrible. I love you guys. I love all you guys. Let me post a few links before I officially go. Here is a link to get, your mask, your SC mask. They're so cool. If you have to wear a mask, and you do, a Status Coup mask is the way to go. Get them for your friends and family and dogs. Oh, Susan was responding to another comment. Oh, Anony, yeah. So EMDR therapy is what I'm doing. So I had an EMDR session yesterday, and I was so drained from it, but I truly think that I processed some things from my childhood that needed to be processed. So I like EMDR, and it's hard and it's going to be a journey, but I'm going to keep going with it. More EMDR, more CBT, anything that can help. Seek the Siren says, I get scared for my little sister, especially since she's on social media. I have 2 kids, and I've told them so many times, like, how to be safe on social media, but one of them is about to turn 13, and like, when they're young, they're easy to control and keep an eye on, but like a 13-year-old, his we have a finished basement, so his bedroom is way down in the basement. Like, I can't see everything he's doing online. He's a really, really good kid. But I'm afraid of those predators. I know that it's less likely for boys, but it's still super scary as a parent, just knowing what the world is like and how disgusting many, many people are. I want to give another shout out. Susan Mercurio, yes, PTSD from your childhood and interested in EMDR. Yes, I definitely recommend it. It's like I've only done a few sessions so far, so I can't say like I'm cured. And I don't think I'll ever be cured of childhood complex PTSD, but it's how, like, I really feel like I'm getting somewhere, like I'm really processing stuff. So Susan, I do recommend it. Throwaway asks, how about MDMA, ketamine, or LSD therapy? I would definitely try ketamine therapy. Yeah, ketamine is the one. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I have no idea how to go about getting it. Like, I don't even know how to I don't even know how to buy weed. I live in Maryland, and I go to DC to get weed for my anxiety and stuff. And it's so stupid in DC because you can't buy it. You have to buy something. Like, it's okay to give someone weed. It's legal to give someone weed in DC, but you can't buy it. And so what you do is, like, you buy something stupid like a tote bag and then they put the weed in it. Like, it's a dumb system. But I don't even know, like, how do I get ketamine therapy? Like, if I can't even figure out how to get weed. High schoolers know how to get weed and I don't. No idea. Garden Boots says, Jen, it is very important to report on this and stand with Fight for These Girls. Thank you, and so glad that you are not neglecting self-care. You rock. Thank you, Garden Boots. You're the best. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button so you see all of the updates on Ghislaine, Epstein, Virginia, Roberts Jewfrey, Alan Dershowitz, Bill Clinton. We're going to stay on it here at Status Coup. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And Tamarishka, I hope I'm saying it right. We all did the MDMA thing in the 90s, so did it not work? I don't know anything about, I don't know anything at all about, like, procuring drugs. Jacqueline says, ask your teenager. We have discussions about safe online behavior and stuff like that. He has Asperger's, which makes me worry more. Not because, like, he's super smart. Like, he's adult level smart. Like, a really, really, really smart kid. But I just worry that I worry that he'll be naive about this topic or getting into danger or, like, trusting the wrong people. And the kids also play games online, like Fortnite. I heard that the military is trying to recruit kids on Fortnite to join the military. And on Twitch, I think AOC is doing something, like, proposing a bill about, like, not trying to recruit on Twitch, which is where a lot of gamers and young kids hang out too. So, one last pitch. If you could do one thing to help Status Coup, if it's within your means, I absolutely urge you to please join Status Coup as a member for as low as $5 a month. You might think, okay, $5 is not really anything, like, it's not going to help, it's not worth it, but it's completely worth it because you get a ton of bonuses. You get behind the scenes videos, video diaries, behind the scenes reporting, photos from in field, monthly member calls, which we sometimes do more than one a month. They're so fun. We answer all of your questions, and sorry, I got distracted by the comments. And it's just the $5 a month, like that sustains us because we're about 200 away from 2,000 members. We were almost to 2,000, but so many people had to drop out due to COVID. And I don't, I don't begrudge anyone. Like, you can afford what you can afford. And I completely understand. We've gotten so many emails about it, but it matters. So if you do have that $5, skip the Starbucks latte, skip the Dunkin' Donuts, dig in your couch cushions and join statuscoup.com/join. statuscoup.com/join. I promise you it will be well worth your while. Plus, we are coming up with new things to add for members to really make this a steal of a deal. So statuscoup.com/join. Okay, I've been officially going for 2 hours. Thank you guys all for sticking with me. I love you all. You're wonderful. And we will be back Sunday. So join us around noon. We don't always start exactly on time, but join us around noon. Text, if you want to make sure you get the notification, text COUP to 370-370. You'll get notified via text when we're live. And it's the Status Coup Marathon Sunday. So Status Coup Super Chat Marathon Sundays are very, very fun. So definitely tune in. All right, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. Have a great weekend. Don't let the COVID get you down. And don't get, a lot of this Jewfrey, Epstein, Ghislaine, Maxwell stuff is really depressing. It's absolutely horrifying. It is triggering for a lot of people. Do other things too. Like, if you are digging into this, if you are reading up on this and keeping up with the news, do other things too. Read fiction or watch TV, or like, I need to watch Ozark. Jordan keeps saying that Ozark is just the thing. So watch stuff, get away from this stuff, but also if you want to dig into stuff, there just has to be a balance, because we can't be surrounded by really depressing, hard stuff all the time. So best wishes to you all. Have a great weekend. Join us on Sunday. Text COUP to 370-370. Join as a member. Love you all. Mean it. Bye.